Alright, everybody. Strap yourselves in. This is the team composition for Act 3. There's a lot of theory crafting going on here, some wonky decks, some very niche specific things happening here, some cards that you're probably not used to seeing. Just kind of cool. I think this deck is going to help encourage the creative juices to flow through your veins and things like that. Act 3 is sort of two major things: preparing for T5 and then preparing for the body dump. T5 is interesting because you need at least one player who has invested a little bit into speed. Because on T5 you have players who are holding out on the staircase, that's probably the best strategy, and 1 to 2 players who are running around gathering the crates. So it's like a little bit of a race against the clock here sort of thing, right? You need to balance having enough resources on the staircase so that players can kill zombies and mutations seemingly infinitely. At the same time, though, you need somebody who's getting the crates, and the faster they get the crates, the less resources you need on the staircase. But if we have more resources on the staircase, then the more time that the player can get in crates can take. A little back and forth. So we have sort of a build up into speed, but only for one character. At the same time, though, when we get to Body Dump is the biggest arena in the whole game. It's huge. It's a huge arena. Huge bit of space, and it's very movement intensive. And so the whole team will eventually then have to invest into movement speed, but players on the team are going to be doing it at different times because they're going to be fulfilling different roles at T5. And so there's some sort of crisscrossing, zigzagging stuff here that's happening, and some pretty unique decks. I'm really excited to show these guys. Very theory crafty, with some really neat interactions that are going on here. Holly Melee is our first character. Share the Wealth, Double Grenade Pouch. If you haven't seen my videos before, I believe firmly in like this economy card grenade pouch foundation, because when it comes to dealing with zombies, positioning is key. Get yourself in a room, get yourself in a hallway. Dealing with a horde becomes super duper easy as you cut off those angles of danger. The only thing that can kill us when we're in that holdout spot, like a room or a hallway, is a tall boy or a mutation that shows up, which is why we have grenades and flashbangs. And the more grenades and flashbangs we have, the more nonsense and RNG and mutations that we can blow up when they show up. And it kind of rhymed, didn't it? Right? But then we get Vanguard, Slugger. You're going to see the pattern here for just about all of the decks, and that 1 and 2 will be Share the Wealth Grenade Pouch. 5 will be Cross Trainers, 7 will be Superior Cardio, and that's going to be the same for all of the decks. 3 and 4 for all of the decks is going to be like the cards that sort of represent what that character is going to be doing. It's going to be their gimmick cards, their niche. So for Holly being melee, it's going to be Vanguard, Slugger, and then the Cross Trainers. So with our first 5 cards is the farm map. Holly has the basic fundamentals of a melee deck. Vanguard for team healing, Slugger for making the quality of life easier when it comes to dealing with a horde and at a choke point. But Holly's not super committed to it yet. You don't need to run around with your bat all the time, but every opportunity that you can to get extra health with Vanguard is always appreciated for you and your team. Cross Trainers, just a very nice generalized card. Bad Seeds, Blazing, or not Bad Seeds, I'm sorry, A Father Fields, or whatever the hell the map's called, the farm map. The beginning half, or 90% of Blazing Trails, and pretty much all of Cabins by the Lake, are incredibly open maps. Tons of space to move around. Having just that little bit of extra stamina regen, and movement speed is going to take the edge off as far as kiting mutations out in the open. Because just like how confined space and choke points counters the horde, open space actually counters most of the mutations, because we have the ability to kite them around and pull aggro from one character to the next and flank them and get angles on their weak spots. So open space is great for dealing with mutations, Cross trainers is going to allow you to do that pretty much freely, totally safely. And also too, if anything goes wrong on these open maps, and you happen to be near an area where you can get into a corner or into a room, cross trainers will help you get there more quickly, more safely. But we're not super heavily invested into anything movement-wise yet for Holly. Bomb Squad next. We're going to be using melee to kill zombies, Bomb Squad to kill mutations. So when you're in a holdout spot, Holly and Doc will be communicating as far as who's throwing what when, and etc. But the point is, Holly's kit will be diverse in that she'll have a melee weapon to kill zombies, a primary weapon to fill in the gaps between zombies and tall boys, basically. And Holly will be able to pretty much hold a room or a staircase essentially by herself by just good audio cues as far as hearing when the mutations show up and things like that, and switching to the grenading, switching back to the melee weapon, continuing what she's doing. Very nice kit. Holly is essentially a one-woman staircase holding machine. Card 7 for all the decks is going to be Superior Cardio. This is Cabins by the Lake. We have this specifically for the very end, though an extra bit of stamina, movement speed, for the same reason that Cross Trainers is good on any open map. Superior Cardio is like the same thing. Cross Trainers, Superior Cardio, virtually accomplishing the same thing, but slightly different. We're rounding out our base movement here with Cardio here on Cabins by the Lake for that final part when you have to put the battery in the gate. Putting the battery in that gate triggers the horde. There's some tricks that you can do to manipulate that still, and it's been slightly nerfed than what it was before, but the trick still works, and I'll talk about that in the walkthrough, where I'll talk about all the strategies and the tips and the tricks per map. But essentially, having cross trainers and cardio by this point is going to give you the tools to sort of decide what you want to do, whether you want to push forward onto the bridge after the battery gate, or fall back into a house to hold off the couple of hordes that have been triggered. It's up to you, and these tools are going to give you the ability to go either way, essentially. Face Your Fears. Now we're investing back into the melee. We have Face Your Fears on the maze for Holly, because Holly's going to be taking point. Having a melee weapon in the maze is really nice, just because she takes point, she's killing all the zombies. The lack of audio of not having to shoot a gun in the maze is really good, so you're going to be pulling less aggro zombies at once, making a more casual experience for Holly to sort of just trudge to trim the hedges as she goes through. Another thing too, and I'll point this out on the walkthrough, is that birds in the maze. Kind of a problem. Getting a horde triggered in the maze is borderline game ending, mission ending a lot of the times, especially if a mutation shows up. Ideally, you can save as many grenades as possible by the time you get to the maze. But the interesting about the birds in the maze is that most of the birds you can walk by. Where people get in trouble is that you're walking by the birds, you're hugging the wall farthest away from the birds, which is always intuitive, and then a zombie shows up. At that point, people need to punch it, but they don't. They shoot their gun, and that startles the birds. Having Holly in front will help negate that, because she'll be just slicing and dicing as she makes her way through. Hopefully then nobody will need to shoot their gun because it's already dead because Holly chopped her head off. But Face Her Fears will also then help Holly be healthy as she takes on the front. Improvised explosives now at this point. We need to we're not only building grenade damage up so that Holly can have nuclear grenades by the time you get to Body Dump to kill the ogre, because as we learned from Act 2, grenades are the quickest and most efficient way to blow bosses up. But you need to invest heavily into it with the deck. But now that we're at T5, card 9 is T5. Holly's grenades will almost guarantee that she'll be blowing up the tall boy variants with a grenade. Doc is also going to be at this strength as well. You can sort of alternate, and Holly can even potentially just drop her grenades on the ground and let Doc worry about it. But if something happens to Doc or something happens to Holly, you have two characters who are going to have the ability to blow tall boys up rather comfortably. And so, improvised explosives at T5 is just to round out this concept of melee weapon for zombies, enhanced grenades for tall boys and sketchy mutations that show up. Grenade pouch now for just running through the map. A Friend in Need. Making a Friend in Need is a decently length map. Um, and then making the grade decent length as far as I don't know why I'm saying it that way. Pretty moderate length as far as the map goes. Road to Hell about the same-ish, maybe a little bit longer, right? So just having the extra resources to carry an extra grenade will just allow you to form those basic strategies of holding out and dealing with things that are in your way quickly and swiftly for longer in the match. And hopefully if you move with good pace, you'll have plenty of grenades by the end. Remember, Doc will also have grenades as well. Demolition's expert now to round out just as much damage as we possibly can. And so up until this point, Holly has pretty much the minimum as far as movement goes. Cross-trainer superior cardio. Very, very bare minimum. Not really something that you're going to be able to outrun the Horde with, especially this late into a act, because at this point you're getting sprinting zombies pretty often. Pretty regularly. Which is why we get Fleet of Foot now at the body dump. Or not the body dump, at the Road to Hell. Not that Fleet of Foot is like a particularly great card for this map, though the extra movement speed is nice for the final bit where you're hitting the gate buttons and you need to run from one gate to the next. It can be nice that you can get the Horde behind you, mutations behind you, and having people invest in the move speed means at least one of you will get to that button with haste and be able to push that button. The sooner you push it, the sooner you're in the safe room. But we really have Fleet of Foot here just because we're building up to the body dump, where we then get run like hell. Again, big, huge open arena. So there's actually a lot of opportunity to create space and not get hit by a lot of things because the arena is so huge and we're going to be moving so fast that Run Like Hell will almost always be active. Not an issue getting hit, though it will happen. At this point, Holly is going to sort of fall off as far as melee value goes, which is why we've invested so little into it. Slugger, Vanguard, Face Your Fears. That's it. Bare bones minimum as far as melee investment goes. We're really focused on the grenade damage and the extra movement speed for the body dump. So hopefully, for the most part, some good melee movement and understanding of how it works, and having your teammates on the staircase focus on killing fire and acid zombies if they can, if that happens to be the case, will be critical to Holly's survival. Because it's just we don't have any extra damage resistance, no other health regain, no battle lust, anything like that. Just bare bones investment in the melee. The nice thing about that is the most ammo heavy thing that you're going to be doing a lot of times is going to be shooting mutations. But there's also going to be a crap ton of zombies, right? So you're going to save a ton of ammo as far as not having to shoot zombies as often because Holly will be dealing with it. And we don't need to invest too much into a melee weapon because melee weapons with a headshot or with an upgraded melee weapon will pretty much be one-shotting most of the zombies anyways. If you happen to die, if things not go well, you'll hit Rhythmic Breathing for extra stamina to have more success running around on the body dump, and then Surplus Pouches. Ideally, you want to save your grenades to grenade dump the Ogre at the end once you've destroyed all the mega nests. But at the same time, you don't want to just die with 5 grenades or 3 grenades, right, in your inventory. Like, you need to, if you're gonna die, you should be burning all your stuff right before you die anyways. So having an extra surplus pouch will mean that at the very least you'll get to live for longer because you'll blow up more problems, or have an extra grenade or 2 by the time you do need to grenade dump the Ogre, and hopefully between you and Doc and a well-timed T5 grenade, you can do some serious damage and then blow it down with your weapons. So that's Holly. Dipping our toe into melee so that we can have infinite solution for zombies, healing and sustain over time, and then we're investing heavily into grenades so that we can kill mutations on the missions, but then also have the potential to grenade dump the Ogre at the end. Mom. Mom is our support character, but also our alternative runner. On the staircase, I'm going to talk about the strategies to deal with T5 specifically, but the idea is you'll have 2 to 3 people on the staircase pulling aggro, 1 person doing the crates. When I say 2 to 3, Mom will be that variable. She will invest into movement speed a little bit earlier, fleet of foot onto T5. So we'll have 1 character running, that'll be Evangelo, and his exact path and stuff will be in the walkthrough guide. But if things are going well on the staircase, or when you're piggybacking, right, the runner player is going to be going straight for crates immediately. The other 3 players need to set up wire inside the house and piggyback extra supplies onto the staircase. Mom will be sort of really nice at doing that because she'll have the extra bit of movement speed early on. Things like that. But when we start at the beginning, we have Share the Wealth, Double Grenade Pouch. Same thing. Mom should be carrying flashbangs. I recommend Mom has flashbangs. Doc and Holly will be grenades because they'll be investing in grenade damage. I would suggest that Evangelo carry the pipe bombs, and Mom carry flashbangs as basically pseudo grenades. You use flashbangs and grenades in the same exact scenarios, except you just need people to be alive to shoot the tall boy once it's flashbanged. Flashbangs then also have the alternative use of really stun locking a breaker or a hag and things like that. So Doc and Holly, grenades, Mom, flashbangs, and then Evangelo, pipe bombs. And that'll also be nice on T5 because all of your mutation killing power will be on the staircase, and Evangelo will just need to pipe bomb himself out of trouble if he needs to. So Share the Wealth, Double Grenade Pouch, Shoulder Bag, and Experienced EMT. Here are 2 support cards, right? At the moment, it does seem to be that EMT is still bugged. I know the patch notes for December said that it would no longer heal trauma. It's been tested. I've watched it live. Swing Point will probably be making a video about it. As far as we can tell at the moment, Experienced EMT is still bugged. There might be some circumstances where maybe it isn't working and maybe it is working still. So just keep that in mind that it may or may not be healing trauma. It might get hot fixed or whatever. So just user discretion here. But we don't really have EMT for the trauma heal, right? So I just want to get that out there. We actually have it here because I actually really like EMT more now that it has the stamina and stamina regen. It sort of reminds me of the card like Mandatory PT, except we get, instead of 15% stamina, we get 10% stamina, 10% stamina regen, and 10% health. So I think this sort of falls into the same category of like a movement support card like Mandatory PT is, but it's better because it also gives health and stamina regen. It's more user-friendly. You do need money to spend for it to work, but essentially it's just extra survivability, extra movement speed, really, really nice. So just keep that in mind that by the time we get to card 7, which is Cabins by the Lake, and we need to run through a Reeker Horde potentially, we don't just have superior cardio and cross trainers, we'll also have experienced EMT firing off as well. Cross trainers on 5, first 5 cards are for the farm. Same thing as anything, open space, cross trainers, great card. Now we have Poultice. EMT and Poultice work more naturally with the bandages and or pain pills. So use either or as you prefer. I prefer pain pills because you get the 40 temp health. It's super fast to use. You can use it in a very clutch situation. And the pain pills now heal for 20 points of health, which is kind of neat. You turn your pain pills into basically bandages. And EMT goes off, so it's like a 70 health net gain for super cheap, and it happens instantly. Excuse me. Superior cardio for the Reeker Horde situation on Cabins by the Lake. And then Cold Brew Coffee. I have been really loving this card now. This card is great, I think. It's like a catch-all. It's a quality of life card in that it just reload speed, aim speed, weapon swap speed, use speed. We have all the speed. If you're making a deck and you don't know what to put in it, Cold Brew Coffee is an easy fit in because it helps you with literally everything, from shooting your gun to boarding up windows to picking teammates up off the ground, using items, things like that. It helps with literally everything. No matter what you're doing, cold brew coffee will be affecting it. So kind of nice. Catch-all card here. So if mom needs to apply healing or med kits or whatever happens, or picking somebody off the ground, she has just all this little extra bit of utility, reload speed from her crowd control, things like that. But then mom's getting fleet of foot on T5. T5, right? So mom is the alternative runner. Worst case scenario, something happens to Evangelo. Mom will be the person to go and save him. Whether it's with a defib or with her quick revive, fleet of foot will help her piggyback items, as well as maybe, hey, it's kind of quiet right now, or you guys have got a good rhythm going. I'm gonna go upstairs and figure that all out. Start shooting down doors, stacking crates, etc. Mom will be better at doing that, as well as coming to the rescue to Evangelo to save him if she needs to, or if he's totally dead, Mom will replace him. Just a backup runner. Grenade pouch now. The same place that Holly got it, just for the extra supplies over the missions that are of a decent length. Support scav. I need your guys' help with this. I've run this a little bit. It does seem like support scav is a rather nice card to have at making the grade. When you think about the map making the grade, it's relatively easy to loot on your way to the nest. When you open up into making the grade, and that's sort of like on the street outside, there's a couple of cars that are very conveniently on your path. There's like loot along the side of the building and things like that. You can even look inside the windows of the school. There'll be typically zombies inside, but you can actually look inside the windows of the school before you enter and see what loot's in there. There's like 3 or 4 classrooms when you first enter the school that all have potential loot spawns. And then you go down into the nest area, and again there's like 2 or 3 classrooms and a break room and a closet room, all with potential spawns. So I feel like support scavenger can be a really nice card, just to sort of conveniently have all the extra health supplies and things like that. So let me know if you run this deck or run support scav or any scav card in general on making the grade, because it might be a really good map for the scav cards to trigger on. Now we're just investing into the movement speed for the body dump. But we already have fleet of foot a little early here. We have sort of like the cheap way to go as far as providing support, right? Healing, EMT, support scav. It's sort of like quantity over quality. And just enough healing to take the edge off, right? Because we would have fleet of foot, look what's on body dump. On your mark. What the hell is this card doing here? Hear me out. We're on the body dump. Hopefully you're rich. You buy all your grenades, all your stuff, all your defibs, your stun guns, etc. Everyone's filled up. Max health at the medicine cabinet. There's no reason not to. At this point, there's nothing to loot. There's nothing to loot. No need to loot. Open up that safe room door. The 4 of you book it. Now, when you jump down into the area that is the body dump, it triggers an ogre that spawns on top of a bridge. That ogre jumps down from the bridge. He roars at you. It feels kind of like you need to fight him. Well, everyone at this point is going to have Run Like Hell and Fleet of Foot, plus Evangelo's movement speed bonus. With On Your Mark, you have exactly enough stamina and enough speed for pretty much the whole team to run past the ogre as he's sort of jumping down. Just be sure that when you get to the point where you're sort of like jumping down into the body dump, that everyone sort of gets there at the same time, and you sort of wait, line up, do it all at once. The closer everyone is clustered together, the better. Because people will naturally get moved apart because of everyone's different weapons will have different movement speeds on them. But essentially, On Your Mark will last long enough, and you'll have just enough stamina to get past that ogre quickly. In order to beat Body Dump, you need to destroy the 3 super nests and then kill an ogre. If you kill this first ogre at the bridge, a second ogre spawns. we can skip that second ogre. Don't kill the first ogre. Just run past him. Then you spread out, do the body dump however you like. Evangelo is going to be set up to do it by himself, essentially, and you'll have the other 3 players form a... You have Evangelo on his own going to one. The other 3 players will work together to go to a different one. Evangelo is the speed clutch god. You'll see when we get there. He's all set up to do everything by himself. He's like self-sustaining. He's like his own little... I don't know, colony, hive. I don't have a good joke there. Anyways, if you happen to die at this point, rhythmic breathing will actually line up really, really nicely with on your mark. I find that you run out of stamina before on your mark is fully expired, before the 30 seconds is up. Rhythmic breathing will help on your mark and your stamina bar sort of line up more nicely, more better. And you'll not only be able to run past the ogre now at this point, you'll actually be able to run pretty much right into one of the nests, left or right. If you die even more, Slurpee pouches. Anyway, same reason why Holly has it, right? Everyone has these same last 2 cards for the same exact reasons. Extra stamina, extra grenades will mean extra survivability as you're running around the huge mega arena that is the body dump. Doc the Charitable Bomber. Share the wealth, double grenade pouch, we know why. Medical Professional into shoulder bag. So we have sort of EMT, that is a temporary means to dealing with trauma, but then we're also just right out the gate dealing with trauma immediately if we need to. Don't be burning medkits on people who are full health but have like 40 points of trauma. Like, you want to get the healing value out of the medkit as well, right? Because if you want to just heal trauma, a med cabinet is better. For the extra 100 copper, you get double the effect of Medical Professional. So don't be super stingy. I mean, don't be super lenient with the medkits. They're expensive. They're freaking expensive, right? And you can afford 3 of them. That's 900 copper per mission. You wanna be a little stingy with the medkits. But essentially, we have our setup for dealing with trauma over the course of this early checkpoint as we're going into T5. Because in Act 2, Pipe Cleaner's the Broken Bird. That's a 5-mission checkpoint. Now again, in Act 3, from farm to T5, it's a 5-mission checkpoint. So dealing with your trauma, staying on top of it, staying healthy between the missions, helping everyone get to the end of the mission, all 4 cleaners, will mean that you'll make more money in the long run, as well as a lot of the side quests have like complete the mission with all 4 people alive, or complete the mission without anyone getting end-capped. Getting those side objectives completed, that's 2k copper per mission if you get those extra objectives done. So Medical Professional will help guarantee that the team is healthier for longer, increasing your chances to get that extra money in the long run. Cross trainers for the open space. Bomb squad. Same reason why Holly has it. We're just investing into the grenade damage so we have more holdout success when it comes to dealing with mutations in tight spaces, like the bathrooms at the infested pool. Superior cardio for the cabins by the lake. Charitable soul. Charitable soul. Right now, it does seem like that, where the hell is it? Group therapy is actually looking like it's being affected by healing efficiency right now, which might be a bug or not. Swing Point has been messing with that, so he'll probably make a video on that. I'm not going to explain it. But, we have Charitable Soul here for the maze, for Garden Party. You're in the maze. Fire zombies, acid zombies, wretches, exploders. Tall boys can splash the whole team. There is a lot of opportunity for everyone to take a bunch of splash damage inside the maze, because you're in a tight confined space. You're basically in a hallway, right? So everyone taking a little bit of damage here and there, pretty dang common. Pretty dang common. Charitable Soul would pretty much mean that Doc would never have to choose herself over somebody else as far as getting healed. Ideally, Doc's not going to be in front. Holly would be in front. Doc should be trying to play a little bit safe, because using a medkit is just... Doc gets to apply a mega medkit to somebody else. but she gets a bandage on her own, right, sort of thing. But essentially, Doc will be able to heal somebody else and herself, and we basically get a 2-for-1 here. And so Charitable Soul is just helping us deal with the splash damage potential. And then improvise explosives at T5, just to help kill mutations. I want to go back to Charitable Soul. That's what I'm thinking about here. Just a really cool concept. Obviously, group therapy does the same thing, but I just want you guys to recognize or realize that, like, oh, like the map. This map encourages, or this map puts the players in situations where splash damage can happen more often. Cards like Charitable Soul or Group Therapy all of a sudden make a whole lot of sense. Inspiring Sacrifice also falls into that same category, but here we're skipping Inspiring Sacrifice because no one's gonna die. You guys are gonna be real strong, real good. Yeah, we don't have Inspiring Sacrifice here. I totally skipped it. Almost like out of principle, and just like, let's do some other cards. Anyways, Grenade Training, Demolition Expert, building up our grenades now into nukes so that we can kill the ogre at the end, Fleet of Foot and Run Like Hell for the body dump, and then Rhythmic Breathing and Surplus Pouches if you need extra survivability on the body dump. Evangelo The Runner. Share the Wealth, Double Grenade Pouch. We know why. Card 5 is Cross Trainers. But here we have Shredder and Buckshot Bruiser. We reveal our hand. Evangelo is going to be doing a Shotgun Shredder build, but just a little bit. Shredder, the bare minimum. One card that's going to help give our team a 15% damage boost on everything that they're shooting. One thing to note, other than Evangelo, these other 3 characters run whatever you want. Holly probably doesn't want like a sniper rifle or anything like that, but Mom or Doc can potentially be running a sniper rifle. Run whatever you want, whatever weapon makes sense, whatever you feel more convenient. Very flexible weapon-wise. Just keep in mind that like you want to be killing like exploders and stingers relatively easy. You don't want to burn a grenade on those things. But Evangelo is going to have a shotgun build. So Shredder will help Evangelo contribute to team fights and things like that, and the open map and the typical missions. Evangelo's of some value. The rest of Evangelo's deck is going to be incredibly selfish because Evangelo is preparing to go off by himself into the body dump, and as well as Evangelo is preparing to go off by himself into T5. So Evangelo's deck is all about self-sustain. Buckshot Bruiser. People don't like this card. I love this card. One thing that people need to understand with Buckshot Bruiser, you might think that, oh man, we're shooting a shotgun. Look at all these pellets. Shouldn't that be like almost 3 points of health? Look at all these pellets. Well, the reality is, you see that big number? Right? That 18.8? 18.8 mixed in with all the other 8.8s. All of the shotguns, though they have different damage values, have like 1 mega bullet. They got 1 mega bullet in there. There's a 21 in there. It is theorized at the moment that that 1 mega bullet is what's killing the zombie most of the time. And once the zombie is dead, they lose all collision. So even though we're shooting a bunch of pellets, only 1 or 2 of those pellets are actually hitting a zombie, and thus you're only getting like 0.5 points of health. So for the most part, we look at Buckshot Bruiser in this way. Buckshot Bruiser is about 1 point of temporary health per 2 zombie kills. Not amazing. Not great. But if you're not taking damage, and if there's lots of zombies and you're just shooting and you're doing your thing, getting an extra 5 points of health here and there will keep Evangelo healthier for just that much longer. It'll help ward off chip damage, trauma damage, as well as help him take an extra hit here or there. Where Buckshot Bruiser comes in really, really clutch is actually shooting mutations. He may not be shooting the mutations to kill it. Just keep in mind, though, that if you're low on health and you see a mutation off in the distance, and you're safe to do so, unload your shotgun onto him. Because shooting mutations will pretty much heal you back to full. Mutations are health pools now for Evangelo. He doesn't need to kill them, he just needs to heal off of them. Another thing too, think about the ogre at the body dump. Again, Evangelo's by himself, he's running around. Things aren't going so well for him. He pipe bombs. He outruns the mutations, that's easy, but he's low on health. He sees the ogre off in the distance. Shoot your shotgun. Shoot your shotgun. The ogre's a huge target, and later on we're going to have quick kill for exactly that reason, so that we can almost guarantee that most of our pellets are hitting when we're shooting off in the distance. Evangelo will either want the Express, the Super 90, or the AA-12. Ideally the AA-12. Right? All of a sudden we're healing like almost like 3 or 4 points of health per shotgun shell, given that they're all hitting. With whatever, 12 rounds and an ogre with more health than we can ever dream of, Evangelo can literally heal for like almost all of his health with like a single mag. You can do the math. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but you heal for a crap ton. You heal for a crap ton, and that's the point. Is that once we get to the body dump, and also too, Buckshot Bruiser triggers off of the nests, the mega nest that you have to shoot. Shooting those with a shotgun will give Evangelo more health. So just all kinds of things and opportunities for Evangelo to basically self-sustain. When it comes to like breakout, like Evangelo's breakout, in Nightmare mode the biggest thing is health. You can typically survive one breakout moment, and then you don't have enough health to survive the next one, because the first one took all your health. So Evangelo should have a stun gun, and the way it would go is he gets grabbed, and unless he's like in a super sketchy situation, he should be using his breakout first. He gets grabbed again, no breakout available, stun gun. And then hopefully by then he's got another breakout available. Ideally though, you're not getting into a triple grab pin situation. But in theory, we could have enough health to survive that with Buckshot Bruiser. Again, Evangelo is an island. Cross trainers, we know why. Adrenaline fueled now. Adrenaline fueled. We kill things, we always keep running. Adrenaline fueled triggers off of killing the freaking orbs as well, but also all those little random zombies here and there, running up and down the staircases in T5, blah blah blah. I'll get into the exact details of how you play T5 when I do the walkthrough, but the rhythm is the infinite loop for Evangelo is going to be all the crates are upstairs. You pick up a crate, you jump off the truck, you put the crate on the truck. Now you need to run back into the house. There's almost always going to be a couple of zombies chasing after you, as well as zombies clogging up the door into the house. Communicate with your teammates. I'm coming in. You're running in. You're at the door. There's zombies in your way. You're going to shoot them. It's going to restore your stamina. They'll be out of your way. And now as you're upstairs again, you can sort of slow down. Maybe you can walk, build up some stamina. Adrenaline fuel is triggering more stamina. You have crap tons of stamina. You're creating this infinite loop of being able to shoot and kill things, heal, have stamina, so that you can keep doing what you need to swiftly and quickly, and you can do it by yourself. Superior cardio for Cabins by the Lake, just like everyone else. Run and gun. Run and gun. Here it is. This is why we have adrenaline fueled. We have the ability to, in theory, to just run forever. So long as there's things to kill, we can keep running. On body dump, it's not going to be quite that easy to just always have infinite health. I mean, always have infinite stamina. So stamina management will still be good, but killing the orbs and killing random zombies and things like that can give you a little boost of stamina to really get you out of sketchy situations. That's where you find yourself to be. We also pick it up right here on the maze over Fleet of Foot. Just because, as a backup, you really shouldn't be running and gunning through the maze with Evangelo. Holly should be in front, tanking the damage, calling out the birds, clearing the path by the birds and things like that. But if things go wrong, if somebody dies, if things are all going south, it's all gone to hell, the Fellowship of the Ring is falling apart, Evangelo, in theory, can brute force his way through the maze if he gets an opportunity to. Zombies are in front of him. Zombies are behind him. He holds down his sprint key. He starts shooting his shotgun. He kills zombies. He gets health. He gets stamina. He can just infinitely keep sprinting so long as he's got ammo, in theory. Then we get Fleet of Foot for T5. Again, in T5, the path you take will have minimal zombies. But they'll be on the staircase, they'll be in your way, they'll be in tight spaces. So being able to sprint and shoot can really help Evangelo get out of the tight situations that T5 is common to put you in. And then Fleet of Foot will just round out your movement speed. Quick kill now. We're preparing for the Buckshot Bruiser from a distance, being able to more accurately hit mutations while on the move with run and gun, so that we heal more and we can kill more zombies more easily, right? Like, ideally, if we can burn one shell per zombie, but also still have enough spread on the shotgun that we can kill 2 or 3 if they're clumped together up in the right way. Mad Coupler, because this is the best card to run if you have a no aim down sight deck. Shell Carrier for the damage, but mostly for the ammo capacity, because again, we're self-sufficient. Run like hell, that's like everybody else on Grave Danger. Then Rhythmic Breathing and Surplus Pouches, just like everyone else. Excuse me. And you can see here we have this really weird, wonky, selfish, sort of speedrunny deck, but it does other things. We still have Shredder for the team, Shredder for the Ogre. When it's time to kill the Ogre, you from a really far away distance, if it happens to be that way, with Quick Kill and Shredder, you can still hit the Ogre with all of your pellets, triggering Shredder. Then Holly and Doc show up with their grenades and bomb the Ogre. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this deck, of this team composition. Some interesting stuff going on here. Some cards you typically don't see. So I'm sort of excited to see that there's Run and Gun, Charitable Soul, right? Things like that. Freaking on your mark, and we're not just zoomy speedrunning all the missions, like on the mark, specifically for a clutch reason, on Body Dump. Very cool. There's still things to discover about the game. Excited to keep playing, learning more. Excited for the next content update. Where's more content? Give us more content. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the future.